Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley were the original members of the Judgment Day. But in the end, they also faced a similar fate to the group's former patriarch, WWE Hall of Famer Adam "Edge" Copeland, at SummerSlam in August 2024. The Terror Twins was an unofficial moniker at first for Priest and Ripley, who grew close while part of the Judgment Day. WWE made the name official after they got booted out of the faction at SummerSlam. Wrestling veterans Konnan and Disco Inferno recently talked about the pair. The duo defeated Dominic Mysterio and Women's World Champion Liv Morgan at Bash in Berlin, establishing their dominance as a unit. Speaking on Keeping It 100, Konnan and Disco Inferno slammed Triple H and company for not finding a name that better suited their mixed tag team. While it is unclear if the company will continue to pair these two superstars together consistently moving forward, the veterans highlighted how terrible the name sounded. "I didn't even notice, to be honest. That's atrocious," Disco Inferno noted. Last week on Raw's new season premiere, WWE announced 3 contests for Bad Blood. Women's World Champion Liv Morgan defends her title against Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest faces Finn Balor in a grudge match, and CM Punk vs. Drew McIntyre 3 will be contested inside Hell in a Cell. Finn Balor defeats WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio, Damian Priest set to face Dirty Dom. Rey Mysterio faced Finn Balor in singles competition, which ended in a disqualification last Monday after Balor refused to let go of a half Boston Crab submission hold he applied on the Hall of Famer, locking the latter between the ropes. As for the upcoming episode, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce disclosed as breaking news today that Damian Priest vs. Dominic Mysterio, Bronson Reed vs. Braun Strowman, and the return of CM Punk will all be featured. It will be interesting to see how creative delivers with these storylines in the coming weeks as we get closer to Bad Blood on October 5th at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. In the world of professional wrestling, names hold immense power. A name is more than just a label, it's an identity, a brand, a connection between the superstar and the audience. This is why when WWE veterans began calling out the company for fumbling with brutal and atrocious names for Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, it sparked widespread conversation among fans and insiders alike. 2 of WWE's biggest rising stars, Priest and Ripley, had become integral to the Judgment Day faction, but the names the company was reportedly considering for their new personas left many veterans shaking their heads. The discussion began when rumors surfaced that WWE Creative was toying with rebranding both Priest and Ripley under names that supposedly aligned with a new darker, more gothic storyline they were set to embark upon. However, the proposed names, which leaked through internal sources, were quickly labeled brutal and atrocious by wrestling veterans who had seen their fair share of hits and misses in the world of character branding. The names, a misstep in creativity. The names in question, Gallows Harbinger for Damian Priest and Midnight Fury for Rhea Ripley, were meant to evoke ominous, fear-inducing imagery. But to wrestling insiders, they felt like over-the-top attempts to play into horror cliches without understanding the personalities behind the characters. Veteran wrestler Mick Foley, who has gone through numerous character reinventions himself, was among the first to speak out. On his podcast, Foley expressed his dismay over the potential rebrand, calling the names brutal in all the wrong ways. "Look, I understand what WWE is trying to do. They want to bring a dark, edgy element to Damian and Rhea's characters. But you've got 2 people here who already exude power and menace without needing names that sound like they're ripped from a bad horror movie. Gallows Harbinger? It's trying too hard. Damian Priest already has an identity, he's this blend of violence and grace. You don't need to overcook it with a name like that," Foley said. His concerns were echoed by Booker T, who chimed in during an episode of the Hall of Fame podcast. "Man, I don't know who's in that creative room, but they need to rethink this. Rhea Ripley is one of the most dominant women in WWE today. Midnight Fury? Sounds like a roller derby name, not a wrestling icon. They've got lightning in a bottle with her. Don't mess that up. Damian Priest, more than a name. Damian Priest has been on a meteoric rise since joining the Judgment Day, becoming a cornerstone of the faction alongside Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio. His in-ring style, a hybrid of brutal strikes and graceful aerial maneuvers, had already earned him respect among fans. Priest's name alone carried weight, invoking a sense of danger and authority. The proposed Gallows Harbinger name, however, felt disconnected from the essence of his character. Longtime fans knew Priest as a man who didn't need theatrics to instill fear. His presence, his deep voice, and his signature moves like the Reckoning and South of Heaven spoke for themselves. When you added the Money in the Bank briefcase into the equation, Damian Priest didn't need a dark, edgy rebrand. He was already in the perfect position to take the next step toward championship glory. Even Triple H, who has had a significant hand in shaping Priest's career from his time in NXT, was reportedly uneasy about the direction WWE's creative team was pushing. A source close to WWE's inner workings revealed that Triple H had lobbied to keep Priest's name intact, emphasizing that any character tweaks should come organically and not through a forced, overly dramatic change. Rhea Ripley, a name fit for a champion. Rhea Ripley had arguably become one of WWE's most successful female stars of the last decade. Her dominant reign as Women's World Champion, combined with her natural charisma, had endeared her to the WWE Universe. Her nickname, The Nightmare, was already a perfect reflection of her character, a relentless force who embodied chaos and destruction. Changing that to Midnight Fury seemed like an unnecessary downgrade. Ripley had cultivated her persona meticulously since her days in NXT. Her dark aesthetic, her rebellious attitude, and her unmatched strength in the ring had made her a unique figure in women's wrestling. To veterans like Trish Stratus, who had paved the way for the current generation, Ripley's evolution was the result of a wrestler finding her voice, not something that should be interrupted by a corporate decision. Stratus, speaking on a wrestling panel, noted, "Rhea Ripley doesn't need a name change. She's carved her own path, and you can see it in how the audience reacts to her. They believe in the Nightmare. Changing that to something like Midnight Fury just feels like you're stripping away everything she's built." The fan outcry. Fans on social media were equally unimpressed with the leaked names. The WWE Universe, which had already embraced both Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley as major stars, saw the potential name changes as a misstep that could derail the momentum of the Judgment Day. The hashtags #KeepTheNames and #Don'tChangePriest and Ripley trended on Twitter as fans voiced their support for keeping their favorite stars' identities intact. A popular fan comment read, "Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley don't need gimmicky names. They are the gimmick." Changing their names to something like Gallows Harbinger or Midnight Fury just cheapens what makes them special. WWE's response with the mounting backlash from veterans and fans alike, WWE found itself at a crossroads. Reports emerged that Vince McMahon, known for making bold creative decisions, was willing to reconsider the name changes. As of now, no official statement has been made by WWE regarding the future names of Damian Priest or Rhea Ripley, but insiders believe that the company is leaning towards shelving the controversial ideas altogether. In the end, the fiasco surrounding the names of Priest and Ripley serves as a reminder that sometimes, less is more in professional wrestling. When you have talent like Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, you just need to let them be who they are, and the audience will follow.